We see the big headlines all the time, right? A new drug works wonders, or a new diagnostic tool is incredibly accurate. But behind every single one of those breakthroughs, there's a huge mountain of data. Today, we're going to go behind the scenes and look at the secret life of that data, all the meticulous, often invisible work that makes it trustworthy enough to build science on.
So let's start with what is probably the most important rule in all of data science. Garbage in, garbage out. It's a simple idea, but it's also brutally true. If the raw information you put into your analysis is flawed or messy or just plain wrong, then your conclusions are going to be just as flawed. It doesn't matter how smart your scientists are or how powerful your computers are. So that begs the question, how do we get from the, chaotic reality of a real clinic, a doctor's quickly scribbled note, a patient trying to describe their symptoms, to the clean, structured data that we need to create scientific evidence? Well, it's a journey, and it has 3 absolutely critical steps. And that journey starts right here with step 1, data entry. You should think of this as the single gateway that all information has to pass through to even enter the world of research. It's the first checkpoint, and you could argue it's the most important one.
So what is it exactly? Well, data entry is simply the process of getting information from its original source, say a paper form or a patient's chart, into a digital database. But here's the hidden danger. A single typo, a misplaced decimal point, at this stage, it doesn't just stay a small error, it gets baked into the dataset forever and can contaminate the entire analysis, potentially wrecking everything that comes after. Now, in the old days, this was just a manual slog. You'd have someone literally sitting there typing data from huge stacks of paper into a computer. Obviously, that's prone to human error. So a pretty clever solution was developed called double data entry. You have 2 different people type the exact same information, and then a program compares their work and flags any differences. It works, but it's slow. Today, the gold standard is something called electronic data capture, or EDC. This is where researchers enter data directly into a tablet or a laptop, right there at the point of care. And the system is smart. It has built-in rules. If you try to type in a patient's age as 150, the system just rejects it on the spot. It's like having a bouncer at the gateway, checking IDs. And this, of course, leads us to the next frontier, full automation. In this setup, data can flow directly from its source, like an electronic health record or a piece of diagnostic equipment, straight into the research database, with no human hands touching it. Think about an AI app that analyzes a medical image. Its diagnosis can be piped in automatically. This process cuts down the chance for human error to almost 0. Okay, so the data is in the system, but now a totally new kind of challenge pops up. It's a language problem. And this brings us to step 2, data coding. And this is all about translation, really, creating a universal language. Let me show you what I mean. Picture this. A physician sees a patient, and in their notes, they write down the diagnosis as heart attack. Makes perfect sense to any medical professional, right? But then, over at another clinic, a different doctor sees a patient with the exact same condition, but she writes down the formal clinical term, myocardial infarction. It's the same event, just described with different words. And here is the million-dollar question. Does the computer, the statistical software, know that these 2 phrases mean the same thing? The answer, without any help, is absolutely not. A computer just sees 2 different strings of text. It'll count them as 2 totally separate events, which would completely ruin any analysis you're trying to do on how often heart attacks occur. And that right there is the exact problem that data coding solves. It acts like a universal translator. It takes all those different ways of saying the same thing, heart attack, MI, myocardial infarction, and it maps every single one of them to a single standardized code. That way, the computer consistently understands that they are all the same thing. Now, researchers don't just make these codes up. They use these globally recognized, standardized dictionaries to make sure everyone is on the same page. For example, the ICD is the worldwide standard for diagnoses. MedDRA is super important for classifying side effects or adverse events in clinical trials, and SNOMED CT is this massive, incredibly detailed library of clinical terms. Here's a great real-world example of why this is so important. Imagine you're in a trial testing a new AI diagnostic for an eye disease. You have multiple human experts, graders, looking at the same images. They might all spot the same condition, but one might call it mild non-proliferative diabetic retinopathy, while another just writes mild NPDR. By coding all of those similar but slightly different phrases to a single value, let's say code 1, researchers can then mathematically figure out how often the experts actually agreed with each other, and that's a crucial step for calculating the reliability of the test. All right,
So, our data is in the system, and it's all speaking the same language. We must be ready for analysis now, right? Well, not quite. Now comes what I think is the fun part. Step 3, data cleaning. This is pure detective work. So, data cleaning is this formal, structured process of hunting down and dealing with any records in your dataset that are corrupt or inaccurate or just unreasonable, records that just don't make sense. And the most important part here is that this has to happen before any of the real analysis begins. You're trying to give the statisticians the cleanest, most reliable dataset you possibly can to work with. And this detective work follows a very clear process. First up is screening. This is where you just scan the data for obvious red flags, errors, missing information, wild outliers. Then comes diagnosis. Here you investigate the cause of the error. Was it a typo? Was a sensor broken? Or is it maybe a genuine but very strange clinical result? And finally, you have treatment. This is where you decide what to do. You might correct the error if you can, flag the data point as unusable, or in some extreme cases, you might just have to remove the patient's entire record from the analysis. Let's look at the kind of thing this detective work uncovers. A classic example is a range check failure. The program flags a patient's systolic blood pressure as being 900. Well, that's biologically impossible. A quick diagnosis shows it was just a typo. The real value was 90. It's a simple fix, but that one correction prevents a single, nonsensical data point from completely skewing the average for the entire group. Data points also have to make sense when you look at them together. For instance, a cleaning program might find a patient record that lists the patient's sex as male, but also records a history of ovarian cancer. These two facts are logically inconsistent. The cleaning process flags that contradiction so an investigator can go back to the original source records and figure out which piece of information is wrong. But, maybe the trickiest part of data cleaning is dealing with missing values. All those empty cells in your spreadsheet. Deciding what to do with them isn't simple at all. It really depends on why the data is missing in the first place. Did the patient just skip a question? Did a machine malfunction? Depending on the reason, researchers might use different statistical techniques, like imputation, to estimate what the value might have been. Or sometimes they just have to delete that record from the dataset. So after all of this, the careful entry, the universal translation, this intensive detective work, what's the grand payoff? What do we get? Well, we arrive at the very bedrock of good science. And this really brings us to the main takeaway. Rigorous data entry, standardized coding, and exhaustive cleaning, these aren't just bureaucratic hoops to jump through. They are the 3 interconnected, non-negotiable pillars that support all trustworthy research. If any one of those pillars is weak, the entire structure can come crashing down. Which, of course, brings us full circle, right back to where we started. Garbage in, garbage out. Now you know about the immense and often totally invisible effort that goes into making sure that the data going into a scientific analysis isn't garbage. Because without this entire rigorous process, high-quality analysis is just impossible. To solidify your understanding, practice the MCQs available on the BCBR app.